In the spirit of March being Women in History Month, and the theme for March being the women who tell our stories, I know you've heard me talk about this a lot because that is what it is this month. And so I have designed my Revitalized Sisterhood monthly topic around that as well. But before I get into this episode that I recorded, I wanted to tell a little story, a little something about what community means to me and the importance of networking. And okay, so networking has become a huge thing, and not in a business sense, but networking as far as finding other like-minded travel families for us, for Rick and myself. So it has become something that's so special to us, and we've loved meeting so many people around the globe and connecting with people through social media and then meeting them, in different places. So it's become something that we actually really, really, truly cherish and love. So the concept of networking, but that's also community, right? So when I was asked by Ryan to start this movement for women, this community, I was, of course, so excited about it. Yes, absolutely on board all the way. I love getting to know people. I love meeting people. I think it's so fun. And I love getting to see the amazing things that these women have that maybe, and especially that they don't see in themselves, and helping them see it. So that's such a big thing for me. And I love that. So I went to my very first retreat. And I'll just tell you how cool this has been. This is kind of like a story about this spider web of networking for me that's turned into all of these amazing things. It's brought me these amazing things in my life. So last year I went to, after starting this community, it was so interesting. Like all of a sudden, and I don't know if it was the algorithm or just something I said, and my phone just found me the Unstoppable event in Scottsdale, Arizona last year. It was put on by Jennifer Nelson. And so it happened to align perfectly while I was trying to start this business. And I was like, Women in Business Conference. Yes, I need this. I need this in my life. Everything about it sounded amazing. I just need to go. So I went, right? And I had a fabulous time. I met all these amazing women. I can't even tell you. It was such an amazing time. I will cherish it forever and for always, because not only I had such an amazing time, but I made such beautiful friendships from it. And it has now just become a domino effect of that. And I want that to be how people view the Revitalized Sisterhood. I want that to be how just like men view the Iron Council as a way to network and meet these amazing men. That is what the Revitalized Sisterhood is. This is a network of women across the globe. I mean, we're in 2 countries already. We have women all over the United States and our beautiful member up in Canada. And it's just going to get bigger from here. So do not forget about that aspect of this amazing community. It's getting to know and getting to meet all of these like-minded women across the globe, right? So you might be missing out on your absolute bestie, someone that is just your person, right? You haven't met them yet, but you're going to meet them because of the sisterhood. So anyway, I met all of these amazing women. Think about my guests that have not only been guests on my podcast, but continue to be my friends and I talk to behind the scenes. Randa Dutcher, Kara Polson, Jennifer Nelson, of course, and Sally Holder was just on, and now I'm going to her event in April, and I am so excited. And actually, the funny part about that is I reached out to Jennifer Nelson that put on the Unstoppable event, and I said, hey, let's go to this. Let's go together, and we're going to do that. It's going to be so fun. And not only that, here in St. George, because I had my first retreat, I reached out to my friend Lisa Brown, who was just an acquaintance. She was actually my yoga instructor, and just from having conversations with her and then getting to know her even better because our kids ended up on the same football team, got to know her well enough to know that I wanted her as part of my retreat. that we had last December in Southern Utah. And because of that, I got to meet Trina Glines. And because of that, you know what I mean? Do you see what's happening here? The connections, the spider web, these connections that I'm making. And actually, an even funnier one just happened. The other night, I was talking to Jen Hurst from my Enneagram episode here, and she is local here in the area. But I had told her, I had told her about this event that we're going to be going to in Austin. And she was like, oh, I'm from Austin. Oh, I love that. That sounds amazing. That sounds like an amazing event. And I'm like, you should come and go with us. Come and go with me here. This is who I'm going with. You would love her. You need to meet her. I think you two would hit it off really well. And she said, I sent her Jennifer's profile and she said, oh my gosh, that is so random. And I said, what is so random? And she said, she and I have been connecting and talking for like the past year. We've been fangirling each other. And I'm like, what? That is so wild. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that happening? This is Jennifer Nelson. She's out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Jennifer Hurst, she's here in St. George, Utah, and she does Enneagram work, and Jennifer does trauma work and coaching, and it was so cool. It was such a cool connection to make. And the list goes on and on and on and on. I'm telling you, it doesn't stop there. And I'm so here for it. I am so here for it. So I just wanted to, in the spirit of women who tell their stories, wanted to share that story with you and why it is such a beautiful and important part of my community that I emphasize the networking aspect of what we can all bring to each other's lives, right? What just because you might think I don't have anything to give, you are so wrong. You are so wrong. We all have something we can give and offer, and that's amazing. So thank you so much for listening to that little story on why I love networking so much and why it's been so amazing for me in this community, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. And let's get back to this episode. Hey ladies. Thank you for joining me for another episode of To the Core, my Friday episode of the Revitalized Womanhood podcast. How is it going? Oh my goodness, I am freezing to death in here. Heaven's sakes. Yeah, the heater must be broken because it says that it's 76 degrees. The thermostat set at 76 degrees and it says it's 69 degrees in here. So it is cold. So if you start to hear my teeth chattering, that's why. So I'm sitting here trying to be laser focused and get everything done that I need to get done. And I've been doing some coaching and not for myself. I've been taking some coaching for myself. Is that how you say it? Taking coaching? Learning coaching? Accepting coaching? I don't know. So I'm finding that I'm kind of all over the place. And I'm excited about it. And I think that's why I'm all over the place, because I'm super excited about it. I have a lot of things that I'm really excited about doing and a lot of things that I'm excited to create or share or whatever. But so it makes it so my brain is going in so many different directions. And so I've been focusing a lot of my training, my coaching for myself on how to be laser focused, right? And how to build better habits in getting a task done, like completing it fully before moving on to another task. Do any of you ladies have this problem? As moms, it's really hard for us because we're super used to multitasking and we're used to, oh man, I just did a post about this. Where's my phone? Hang on. I should have had this right here. It's plugged in. I'm going to grab my phone because I actually want to use the exact words for it, the exact wording of what this concept is. And women are this way and men are a different way. And that's why we work so well together and we love them. Let's mute this. No, dang it. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find where it is. It's, oh yeah. Here it is. Okay. So I did this post and it says, does your environment scream at you? Right? And I took that to mean Yes, it does, because I cannot sit still if there's toys on the floor. I can't handle it. I have the hardest time sitting down on the couch with Rick to relax and watch our shows if there's a bunch of toys scattered in front of me and I'm like, oh, I just need to pick those up. Or I've heard women talk about, and I can relate to this back in the day before I had kids. I remember I couldn't handle shoes being left out. I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle, like, if a pillow was askew on the couch or it was thrown not the exact way. Or are you one of those people that have to vacuum a certain way, right? You have to have that certain pattern with your vacuum in your carpet. Yeah, that was me. That was totally me. So that's what I'm talking about with, does your environment scream at you? And so it's a philosophy by Laura Brotherson that was brought to me through my friend Trina Glines. And I'll just read this to you. It's just like many of you, I am able to multitask, right? It's something that most women do naturally as a way of survival, because as women, we have to be able to remember, oh, I have to feed the baby. Oh, I have to also drink water. Oh, I have to, we have all these things we need to do. It's a mode of survival. But now it's just like, I can bounce a baby on my hip while I talk on the phone with a friend, while I make dinner, and know that I need to go change the laundry, and then know that I need to go pick up my son from football. And, it's a way of keeping things track. And some guys have it. I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm just saying in generalities, right? So like many of you, I'm able to multitask. It's something that most women do naturally as a way of survival. I have to be able to, I just said that, bounce baby on my hip, cook dinner, help with homework, have a load of laundry going all at the same time, right? Do you know what this superhuman ability even has a name? It's called multitask alertness. There it was. That's what I was looking for when I was actually getting this out to read to you. So men, in most cases, on the other hand, tend to be single task focused, which is awesome. It's really amazing, because men have the innate need to protect, provide, and procreate. That's Trina's philosophy, and a lot of you are familiar with those P's, because Order of Man, Ryan's are actually, it's so funny that they came together on a podcast, because his are protect, provide, preside, right? So this is an innate thing that men need to do. That's what they were created for. They were created for this one task, is to get food, procreate, provide for my family, right? But in the meantime, the woman was created to take care of everything else. That sounds bad. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I mean, we've got to handle kids. I have to know how to do that. So in the spirit of trying to become laser focused, trying to become one of those people that can finish something before I move on to something else, because I'm normally not. Like I usually have a to-do list or tasks, and just even writing them down is getting better. I'm seeing the growth, right? I'm seeing it happen. But now I've started doing something called the top 3. And it was so funny, because in the same day, Kelly zoomed in on a picture of a little thing at Target that was like a little planner, note keeper, whatever, and it said top 3. And she zoomed in on, showed it to me. And in that same day, I received a new planner from the company that I'm doing my coaching through. And she had the same thing. She had the top 3. And I was like, it's a sign. This is amazing. I am going to incorporate this. I'm going to revive this and bring it into my community, the top 3. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it out and see how it goes. So that's this week. I have started that. So I'm trying to do top 3. Here we go. In the spirit of that, in the spirit of being laser focused, finishing things, seeing things through, a task through till the end, and not just bouncing around from project to project, project. That's where I was going with that. I was asking any of you other moms that do that, you're doing the dishes, and in the middle of that, you see that something needs to go somewhere, so you move it somewhere else. And in the middle of that, you have to pick up a toy and take that back to your son's room. And then in the middle of that, you have to pick up something, a water bottle or the dishes that go back to the sink, right? It's like full circle. So in the spirit of this philosophy that I'm working on, I knew that today in my top 3, I had 2 things I needed to do. I needed to record a Friday episode, and I needed to do our newsletter, my weekly newsletter, which, have you subscribed to that? If you have not subscribed to that, go over to revitalizedwomanhood.com. It's right there on the first page. Subscribe. Easy peasy, right? I would love it. So anyway, I put the two topics together. Let's talk about the same thing. The same thing I'm writing my newsletter about. Let's talk about it on today's episode. Boom, 2 in 1. My top 3, 2 in 1. So I wrote the newsletter and I want to talk to you about it. My newsletter topic that I chose, actually, no, I chose it because I wanted to talk about it as an episode. So then I just wrote it as a newsletter. But in my topic, I wanted to discuss service, right? Finding joy through not taking, not receiving, but giving, right? Giving back. So in a Do Good Live Well survey, 4,500 adults, 4,500 out of 4,500 adults, 89% stated that giving in some way to another person improved their wellness or happiness. That's awesome. I love that. I love statistics like that. 89%. That's a huge percentage of people to be affected by not, like I said, not taking, not receiving, but giving. It's the whole philosophy like around Christmas, right? We love to give back. We love to give back. Yes, getting a gift is fun, but how much better do you feel when you're able to provide for a family in need? Or how much better do you feel when you're able to buy someone else's groceries? Or how much better do you feel when you're able to assist in the Secret Santa? Whatever you feel so good. That's great. We feel like we're serving a purpose that's bigger than ourselves, right? So, do you have a blessed life, but still sometimes find yourself thinking, I feel like I should be happier? Or why do I not feel content? Right? I just recorded an episode a little bit back. If you listen to it, it was the Sally Holder episode. And she said she was living a blessed life. She was living a beautiful life. She was a wife, mother. She is still a wife and mother, but at the time in her life, she was a wife and a mother and a successful attorney and was making very good money, and they had a very good life, and she felt like she should be happy and fulfilled and content, and for some reason she was not, and she felt shameful in that. She felt guilty that she wasn't feeling this way, right? And to me, that says to me that you're missing something, right? You're missing something. And luckily for her, she figured that out too, that she was missing something. She was missing something in her life. And guess what that ended up being? Giving back, giving of herself. It ended up being that she wanted to give, she wanted to teach, she wanted to help others find their true potential in business, right? So that's the whole philosophy here. In this modern day of self-help and self-care, we are bombarded, right? Especially last week was Wellness Week, so that's what it was all about. Sorry, this won't air, but when I'm recording this, last week was. But we are bombarded with thinking of ourselves, right? And I'm part of this. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a bad thing. Like my philosophy, my slogan, if you will, for this year's 2023, focusing on me. But I'm not saying that in a way to be selfish. I'm saying that in a way that you need to put your oxygen mask on first before you put it on someone else, because you're no help to them if you're dead, right? So anyway, for the sake of this concept, focusing so many of our thoughts and actions towards self-improvement and how to benefit ourselves, right? Like I said, don't get me wrong. There's an absolute need for these philosophies, especially for women. Hello, especially for moms. Bless your hearts, moms. Especially for moms. I preach them and I try to practice them daily. However, that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean to forget the other part of this, the second half of this, something that goes along with finding our own joy, and that is service to others. That is giving back, right? That is helping someone in need. Anyway, because it feels good, right? So Rick was coaching me the other day, and the concept of using this community, the Revitalized Sisterhood, as a way to not only improve your own life, but also to look at it as a way to improve the lives of others. Okay, he told me about a conversation that he had had with the gentleman that invited him to come on this hog hunt out in Texas. and he is Colin, and he was having this conversation with Colin, and he says, hey, I know that you're part of the Iron Council and you're not very active in there. You're part of it and you support Ryan, but you're not active in there. You're not an active participant in the community. And Rick's like, yeah, I just don't really do it, or for whatever reason, there's no reason really in particular other than just he hasn't sat down and done it, right? He just hasn't become part of it, an active participant in it. Sorry. And Colin says, hey, would you do me a favor and maybe would you make an effort to be more active in it? And Rick was like, well, sure. Why? And he says, because I would love access to you. I would love access to your knowledge. I would love to be able to jump on there and say, hey, Rick, what do you think about this? Or, hey, let me pick your brain about this, right? Wow. So Rick came home and he was telling me about this. And I've been thinking about my community, the Revitalized Sisterhood, unilaterally. I've been thinking about it as, of course, I do think about it as a way that not only what can the sisterhood do for you, but what can you do for the sisterhood in terms of holding each other accountable, right? We're all in here together and we're doing these things and we're holding each other accountable. We're holding ourselves accountable. What can it do for me? But we're holding each other accountable. What can it do for you? But that is a type of service. That is a type of service. So when I've been saying, do you feel stuck or unmotivated? Or do you want to learn how to be the best version of yourself? These are accurate things. These are accurate statements. I stand by this. Do you? Because I can help with that. I have the tools in here. We're working with that. But I also want to be saying, do you need a way to give back? Are you in a place in your life where you could be helping others? Yes? Right? Like, it's all about seasons, okay? So if I am in a season where I have nothing else to give, I have nothing to give, I need to take, I need reassurance, I need someone to uplift me, I need strength and motivation, that's fine. That's a season. That's what we're here for, that too. But if you are in a place in your life where you are confident, successful, crushing mom life, have a very happy marriage, you are, right? You are in a position to help others. You are in a position to share your gifts with others. That's amazing. That's an amazing place to be. And guess what? Also, time might come around when you need a little uplifting as well, because it does. It all comes around. It's all seasons. So it's not only about what the Revitalized Sisterhood can be doing for you, but what you can be giving back to the Revitalized Sisterhood, right? The women in here. Having a sense of purpose has been shown again and again to increase our well-being by providing meaning, right? And a meaningful life is a measure of happiness and contentment. Research has found that giving to others can make our lives more meaningful. Do you see this? Okay, so here, let me take it even one step further than that. The circle is going to just really connect. So think back to when I've asked you all to realize that you have purpose, right? So I talk about it like it's not something that's just out there. Purpose isn't, oh, I will have purpose when this happens, X, Y, Z, or I'll find my true purpose when this happens, X, Y, Z. No, you already have your purpose, right? It's in you. You're born with it. You have it and it's growing and you're nurturing it. But then for some reason, when we get older, we stifle it or we push it down or we bury it or we're embarrassed of it or we're ashamed of it or we're uncomfortable with it or we don't really know how to nurture it or whatever. For whatever reason, we lose it, right? And maybe some people are lucky and they don't, but whatever. So you've kind of turned your thinking to like, my purpose is going to be like what my job is, right? If I'm successful, that's going to prove my purpose. That's going to prove my worth, right? No. If I am the best mother on the planet, that is going, well, that might be the purpose. So let's not go there because that could be your purpose. So, but it's not, your purpose is not just being a mother. Your purpose may be that you're a nurturer. you're a natural nurturer. So I had I had the ladies in my community. I put a challenge to them and I said, write down the 10, like all the roles you've had in the last 10 years, all the jobs, all the roles, everything you've done in the last 10 years, what are they? So for me, okay, we've got wife, mother, friend, sister, daughter, right? Okay. Emergency dispatcher, vacation owner, maid, now podcaster, community leader. Great. So in all of those roles, in all of those jobs, what was it that was the same? What's the word? What was it that was, oh darn, what was the word? Commonality. There it is. Where is the commonality in all of those roles, all of those jobs? What's the commonality to you? What's the same thing from, because emergency dispatcher to a maid, complete difference, right? Complete difference. So there's something about me, how unique I am, specific to Gina, that made me good at being a maid, that made me good at being an emergency dispatcher. There's something uniquely specific to me that is my purpose. That's what it is, right? So anyway, back to this. Now, so you think back to when I've asked you all to realize that you have purpose, right? It's not just out there floating around waiting for you to find it. It's not like Where's Waldo in a book. It's not out there. You already have it, right? It's you're full of your own purpose. And a great way to remind you of what that purpose is and how to bring it back to life, how to reignite that fire in you to find that purpose, is in direct benefit of helping others. Do you see the correlation in the two? It's amazing. Service can be full circle, right? Service, meaning, purpose, happiness. It's full circle. So anyway, just wanted to bring that to the table. So we had a call. I opened up my weekly, we call it our rally call. So it's our private membership. It's our weekly rally call, which means it is our call once a week where the entire community comes together, right? So we have individual squad calls, which are more intimate, they're teams, and they do their own discussions and what's going on in there. They're private. They're totally private. Nobody in the rest of the community knows what's going on in their squad. So the Zoom call that's our rally call is for the whole community. So we kind of bring up topics of what we're talking about and discussing the topic, the monthly topic in the book of the month. So I've mentioned, like, we've had fear, we've had nurturing marriage, we've had, so this last month's mindset, March is women in history, the women who tell our stories, right? So I create a monthly topic. And so for our rally call, we have a place where people can ask a question or say, hey, I'd really like to bring this to the community to hear what their thoughts are on this, that, or the other. So I actually opened up the last rally call of February. I opened it up to friends and family. So I opened it up to basically the public, right? I had a special Zoom link that they could give to friends and family, and they joined us, and it was amazing. It was so good. We had so many new faces on there, the ones that would turn on their camera, but they were listening, and I'm so glad they were there. But it made me thinking, it brought me back to the thoughts of, and I had women on there that have their own coaching, that have their own communities. I had women on there who are successful in business, and I had women on there who are stay-at-home moms. I had from this, that, and the other, every end of the spectrum, from 76 years old. I don't even know who the youngest one is, but the youngest in my community is 20. So I had all over, right? We are all women. The common thread in this, we are all women, right? Whatever we're doing in life, we are all women. We are all like-minded, so we have the same beliefs, the same values. We may do them a little differently, and the way to get to them is a little different path, but we have the same values, right? Family, self-love, self-care, that kind of thing. Higher power, love of our country. I don't know, whatever. Okay, we won't go into all the values. Anyway, and I thought to myself, I used to be not embarrassed to ask. Of course, I'm not embarrassed. I'm so proud of this community. I know exactly what it is. I know exactly the value that's there. But I thought, Rick is really good at telling people why they need the sisterhood. Rick, my husband, a man, is really good at telling people why they need the sisterhood, or why they need the Iron Council, why they need a community like this. And I sat and I thought, why am I not as good at that? Why do I feel like I shouldn't? I'm the one sitting here listening to women say that they're struggling, right? That they're here, I wrote this down, this thought today, and so I'm the one that hears okay, so are you feeling stuck in your life? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling like you're screaming at your kids all the time because you're overwhelmed or overworked or overtired? Are you feeling, I'm the one that hears these things, like a mom that can't keep up in her housework, like she's falling behind, and it's just, honestly, it's probably bad habits, falling into bad habits. You're getting stuck because you maybe have negative self-talk, or and you've created bad habits, and it's a lot easier to just scroll on your phone than it is to actually do a task, or it's a lot easier to sit and watch Netflix than it is to actually fold the laundry pile. Like, I've been there, I get it, and so I know, I feel you. So now, after having these couple aha moments, and in that meeting with all of these new amazing women, I thought, how can you not be part of me about these things? And I'm just like, you need the sisterhood. I'm just dying to tell you about it, because that's what we're doing in here. We are working on growth and challenging ourselves and open growth mindsets and positive thinking and positive self-talk. We're working on all of these kinds of things. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that, as far as, if you not only are thinking of doing something, but look at this community more, not like, what can it do for you? Maybe do look at it if it's something that you're needing in your life. Absolutely. I love that. But also look at it as, what can you do for the community? Is it something you're being called to do as service, as helping someone else, helping others, right? That's your commitment. That's what you can give in this season of your life. And I love that. And I want to put that forward. So on that note, what are you missing out on in your life right now? If you don't have the tools that we are learning and using in the Revitalized Sisterhood community, maybe you are missing out on being intentional with your time. Maybe you're seeing your life as you're missing out on seeing your life as the beautiful blessing and not as something that suffocates you, right? Maybe, for another example, you are missing out on loving your husband deeply because you Now communicate better with him because you've got the tools to do so. You've got the tools to understand the language he's speaking. Maybe you're missing out on running your home like a CEO instead of letting your home run over you. Maybe you're missing out on seeing your worth and loving yourself like you should. These are all the tools that we're working on in here. This is what it's all about. So I will leave you with those thoughts. Thank you again for joining me on my episode of To the Core, my Friday episode. I want to tell you also, second retreat is in full force, happening here in St. George, May 18th through the 21st. I am so excited. I'm so excited. Yes, this is for our private community and it's going to be so good. If you're missing the whole girls camp experience and missing that camaraderie and missing the girl talk like that, this is the place for you. Okay, so the house that I've booked is super cool. Unless we get too many people. If we sell too many tickets, I have to get a different house, but I'm sure it will have something similar. But so this house that I've booked has a huge room, and it's like 5 sets of bunk beds. So excited for this. I cannot wait. I'm so jazzed. We're going to have some amazing speakers. We are going to have a deep dive Enneagram 2-day coaching. So good. We are going to have, we're going to do Pilates paddleboarding out at Quail Lake. We are going to do, oh my gosh, so many things. Actually, there's actually like 3 things that are secrets that I'm not even announcing. I'm not going to put in the itinerary, and I'm so there for it. We're going to have a surprise guest who's going to be actually spending the entire retreat with us. She's not only going to be speaking to us and coaching us and working with us on her new handbook, but she's going to be spending the entire retreat with us. So I'm so jazzed. It's going to be good. So if you are not part of the Revitalized Sisterhood yet, why not? Second, if you are one of our Revitalized sisters, you can go get your ticket over at the website, revitalizedwomanhood.com, in the store. Check it out. Thanks, ladies. We'll see you next time.